We've been incarcerated long enough. Welcome back, Amiibros, to Bioshock. In the last episode, we arrived at the farmer's market, collecting all of the chlorophyll solution and distilled water we need to create the Lazarus Vector and save Arcadia. All we need now are the bee enzymes, which we'll be getting in this episode. Alright, I mean, in reality, the section coming up isn't as bad as I'm making it out to be. I mean, it's just a very annoying section of this part of the game, you know? But we'll get into it when we come across that area. I just tend to blow things a little out of proportion. Kinda like the internet does. Ooh, buzzing! Nah, I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. I mean, Sonic fans do that all the time, too. Ooh! Double buzzing! Ooh, I'm on fire today. Nah, I'm just kidding. I swear, I don't mean that. But as you saw right there, Greg finally got his due. Our grenade launcher can deal extra damage. So if it wasn't packing one hell of a wallop before, it sure is now. So next Rosie we meet, we totally gotta test it out. Even though we just saved all the little sisters in this area, so we have no reason to pick a fight with the big daddies unless, you know, we want to waste ammo. But why would you do that? You know? I mean, we're strong, but we're not Tonka tough. At least I don't think so yet. Give it a few more upgrades. I mean, we're strong enough to resist the urge to drink all the booze in the farmer's market. For now, anyway. But some numbnuts just tricked the alarm, and now time to take some snappies of those security bots. Because I'm sure as hell not tripping any alarms and stalling the Let's Play. That's for damn sure. Because fuck those security bots. See, even the Rosie agrees. He hates them too. I've never actually noticed that detail. Well, if a security bot is in front of a Rosie, the Rosie will try to, like, bat it away. It's really funny. But, on to more annoying prospect. And not just yet. We got a Houdini splicer to deal with. Be a good time to bust out Greg. Or our security, or our camera. Not our security camera. Just to capture the moment of a Houdini splicer falling into their own pit of fire that they caused. Oh my goodness, when I saw that, I bursted out laughing. And what a way to complete our research on the Houdini splicers. And just seeing them commit suicide. Oy. But I'm not sure if I said this before, but you'll know when you complete research for a subject once you receive the research bonus of triple damage. That's how you know when your research is done on the subject. Well, except the little sisters, because, you know, obviously you can't damage them. I mean, you can, but that's only if you use a proximity mine. We've been over this. Anyway, let's go to this Gatherer's Garden and pick up a new plasmid. Insect Swarm. Game, why don't you explain?
Unleash insects against groups of enemies. Attack lots of enemies at the same time.
We now harness the power of bees. My god. But Insect Swarm, much like our chemical thrower, is very good at crowd control. It'll stall enemies long enough for you to have an opportunity of attack on them, either with your wrench or shoot them with your gun, which is really nice. It's a very fun plasmid to use. It also works on the big daddies and distracting them as well. So be sure to use that whenever possible, if you don't have other means of stalling them. But as you saw right there with that Thuggish Splicer, the bees in Rapture are volatile. They will attack you regardless of who you are. And granted, they don't do much damage to you, but it's still enough to be annoying. Kind of like a bee sting. And speaking of annoying, we're finally at the section I consider to be the most annoying, at least in Farmer's Market. Just a quick disclaimer, I don't think this is the most annoying part of the game. That's before the final boss, but I'll get into that when we get there. But this part, right here, Unfortunately, we can't travel inside the room normally, as there are massive fucking hives on the ceiling, as well as a shit ton of bees swarming the area, that if we tried to walk in normally, we'd get stung to death, and that's no good. So you're probably wondering, how exactly do we explore the room if this is where the bee enzymes are located? Well, as you saw when we entered, there were chill controls, which, once activated, send the bees back into their hive, and for a limited time you explore the room, collecting the necessary amount of enzymes to create the Lazarus vector. Sounds pretty simple, right? You know, the only obstacle is that you're on a time limit. Unfortunately, that's not the only obstacle, as the moment you activate the chill controls, splicers swarm the room. And they make this room a lot more frantic, as you're now dealing with two obstacles, the time limit, as well as all the splicers.
Do you have all the components for the Lazarus vector yet? If you do, best head to a crafting station. Then, head back to Langford's lab and put the whole witch's brew in the mister. That should clear this fog right up.
Indeed it should, Atlas. But yeah, it's not too bad, because the splicers you have to deal with are only leadheads and thuggish splicers. Splicers that, you know, you should already have a ton of research bonuses on. You know, and it's not like they send Houdini splicers at you. I mean, Jesus Christ, if they send Houdini splicers, this section would be infinitely worse, because you'd have to deal with all the teleporting nonsense that they do, but I digress. I know I'm over-embellishing it, and the footage on screen doesn't exactly illustrate my point, but it is annoying when, you know, you're just trying to collect bee enzymes and whatever else is in the room, and you have leadhead splicers as well as thuggish splicers beating on you as you're just trying to do it, all the while dealing with a time limit. Because, again, if you're too slow, you're going to get stung en masse, and you'll die, which, again, is no good. You know? I mean, granted, the section isn't long, either. You know, I know I over-embellish in how long it and how annoying it is, not long, but yeah, it is fairly short, so it's not too bad. Unlike the last section before the final boss. Ugh, get to that when I get to that. But yeah, if you're wondering why I went in that room twice, it's to collect the remaining B enzymes, because there is more than the amount needed to create the Lazarus vector. That is one thing you want to keep in mind. Just because you collect all the materials needed for your objective, don't skip out on collecting the extra stuff. You know, if you see any distilled water lying around, be sure to collect it. You know, because the materials you collect in the farmer's market do have other uses outside of the objective. You know, if you want to make electric gel a lot easier, you want to collect as much distilled water as possible. And like I said in the last episode, electric gel is amazing. You know, it is the ammo type that make Big Daddies your bitch. You know, that combined with the right upgrades for the chemical thrower, and you are set. Big Daddies are a complete non-issue. You know, but you need the materials to craft the electric gel as well as other stuff. You know, that's why you want to collect the B enzymes and as much chlorophyll solution, because you never know when you're going to need it. And somehow, I have no idea why or how, but I managed to complete another research level on the Rosie. I don't get it. You know, he was literally in the corner of the frame, but I guess it was just enough to give me another research bonus, which is cool, but I mean, I don't know if I earned it, but whatever, I'm not complaining. What I do know is, let's hack this U-invent machine and finally create the Lazarus vector, after we create this automatic hack tool.
From the sounds of that U-invent, I'm guessing you were the proud papa of a brand new Lazarus vector. Now drop the vector into a gadget called the Central Misting Control. Then we'll be cooking with gas.
I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be cooking with gas in Arcadia the way it is now, Atlas. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we did that, whatever remains of the forest would burn. Yeah, it'd burn down to the ground. And then we'd really be up shit's creek without a paddle, man. I'd rather not do that, Atlas. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Nah, I'm kidding. And there's that Rosie we managed to take a picture of. I don't know how. Again, seriously, this camera can't seem to make up its own mind. Then we see another dead Rosie right over here. I mean, that Rosie that just walked out the room was probably like, oh, God, is that what I look like? Is that what's gonna happen to me? Oh boy, I better get the fuck out of here. That actually makes me wonder, though, regarding the Big Daddies. Do they traverse the levels for all eternity without, exploring the other parts of Rapture, or do they just remain stuck here? Because if so, that's a pretty miserable existence, especially in Farmer's Market, which isn't all that big to begin with. And considering we just rescued every single little sister in this area, yeah, that Big Daddy's wandering alone. Because, I mean, the splicers will avoid him like the black fucking plague. Aw. Poor Rosie. I feel so bad for them. I mean, not bad enough that I won't stop hunting them down if they have a little sister with them. But I do feel bad. You have my empathy. Not my sympathy, though. Because, gotta do what's right. Little girls aren't safe here. Well, any kind of children, or any kind of child, isn't safe in Rapture. Or any pet, for that matter. I mean, we saw what happened to the cat, but I'd rather not talk about that, because I like cats, and I hate seeing a dead cat. In brighter news, we got Evelyn 2, Eve Harder. So, pretty much anytime we use medkits, we'll recover a lot more Eve, which is always nice. And considering that we have enough money to buy a crap ton of medkits, as well as some Eve hypos, I'd say we're doing good for ourselves. Shit, we're already carrying too many frag grenades. I'm not complaining, though. Considering we just gave Greg a nice tune-up for him to pack more of a wallop, I'd say we're pretty set for whatever comes our way. Look at that, we just took down that Houdini splicer in 2 shots. I don't care if it was just using anti-personnel rounds, I'm proud of that. Good old Rover, you never let me down.
Don't fight the inevitable. You run out of oxygen sooner than that. Just go.
Oh no, Andrew Ryan tripped the alarm. I wish I found a safe place to hide from all these security bots. Oh wait, I have chameleon skin, so I can just hide in plain sight and they'll never see me. Oh no. While waiting, I could take some pictures of these security bots, considering they're not friendly. But if I do take a picture, I expose myself, so I'd rather not do that, and I'd rather just wait out the timer. Probably should have equipped shortened alarms when I had the chance, but I don't think there's a gene bank in the farmer's market. At least in my memory. I'm pretty sure there is, and I'm just forgetting, because I'm a dunce like that. Well, at least now I decide to take a picture as soon as the alarm is almost over. Oh hey, better to take a picture as the alarm is ending than, in the meat of it. Fucking buggers. Moving way too fast for me. Over here we find another audio diary. See what I mean when I say, like, they hand these out to you like candy as you progress further in the game? We're on our 4th audio diary, I believe. And we're about to collect our 5th one not long after. So yeah. But now that we're back in Arcadia, I figure now's the best time to elaborate further on why I love Arcadia from a narrative aspect. As you heard while we were on our way to Julie's office, Ryan mentioned that once the government tried to nationalize his park or nationalize his forest to make it a public park for people, he burnt the forest down. And here we are traveling through Arcadia in another dead forest. One that wasn't made for us, one that we, walked through freely, breathing in the oxygen to our heart's content without, paying a dime, without even being, a rapture citizen. We see history repeating itself with Ryan killing the trees in Arcadia the same way he burned down the forest on the surface, which is a really cool detail about Ryan's character. You see history repeating itself with him. I also think that it helps inform Ryan's character even more so because, again, at this point, it's showing how desperate he is to kill you. That he's willing to just rob the entire city of its oxygen in the hopes that you will die. I just always think that's really, really cool. It keeps you one step ahead of the guy. On a cliffhanger, I'm gonna have to, lest I have the video be extended to close to 30 minutes, and I'd rather not put you all through that. So, next time on Bioshock, we'll be pumping our newly created Lazarus Vector into the misting machine and saving Arcadia. See you guys then.
Now, I'm a woman of science, but I'm also a woman who's not afraid of turning a buck or two. Ryan said if I could boost profits in Arcadia, part of the app would ride on my hip. So I get to thinking, we're paying for oxygen when we got photosynthesizing trees. Hell, we can even sell the extra to the rest of the city and undercut the other guys. Ryan will like that for sure. Fontaine's people have moved into the O2 biz tooth and claw.
On my walk today, I had my first encounter with a pair of them. He, a lumbering palooka in a foul-smelling diving suit, and she, an unwashed moppet in a filthy pink smock. Her pallor was off, green and morbid. There was a rather unpleasant aspect to her demeanor, as if she were in an altogether different place than the rest of us. I understand the need for such creatures. I just wish they could make them more presentable.
Adam acts like a benign cancer, destroying native cells and replacing them with unstable stem versions. While this very instability is what gives it its amazing properties, it is also what causes the cosmetic and mental damage. You need more and more Adam just to keep back the tide. From a medical standpoint, this is catastrophic. From a business standpoint, well, Fontaine sees the possibilities. One of the children came and sat in my lap. I push her off. I shout, "Get away from me!" I can see the Adam oozing out of the corner of her mouth, is thick and green. Her filthy hair hanging in her face, dirty clothes, and that dead glow in her eye. I feel hatred, like I never felt before, in my chest, bitter, burning fury. I can barely breathe. And suddenly I know. It is not this child I hate.
What makes something like me? I look at genes all day long, and never do I see the blueprint of sin. I could blame the Germans, but in truth I did not find tormentors in the prison camp, but kindred spirits. These children I brutalized have awoken something inside that for most is beautiful and natural, but in me is an abomination. My maternal instinct.